Hey there, so glad you're here. This is Reddit Stories Podcast. Relax, you're safe here. Here's our first story. Am I the jerk for telling my niece her mother tried to give her away as a baby? I, 28 male, got into a serious argument with my sister, who's 31, last week. It had been building up for a long time. Things between us have been tense for years, and this just brought it all to a head. Back when I was 17, my sister had an unplanned pregnancy. Her boyfriend at the time left her as soon as she told him. Because of pressure from our religious family, she decided to keep the baby. But once her daughter was born, she panicked. She didn't want to go through with legal adoption, so she asked me and our mom to take care of the baby. There was never a formal custody arrangement. It was just a private family agreement. From the time my niece was born until she was 3, I was the one raising her. My mom helped when she could, but she was working full-time to support everyone. I dropped out of school at 17 and became a full-time caregiver. I changed her diapers, fed her, got up at night with her, and taught her how to walk and talk. I gave up my education and my teenage years because I loved her and I thought I was doing the right thing for the family. Then, when my sister met her now husband, everything changed. She got her life together, moved back home out of nowhere, and suddenly decided she was ready to be a mother. There was no warning. She just showed up, took her daughter back, and that was that. My niece was 3. She didn't remember me as her primary caregiver. Over the years, our whole family just quietly agreed to pretend like none of it had ever happened. My mom especially wanted to keep it buried. Now my niece is 11. She's a smart, kind kid, and I've stayed in her life as her uncle, but there's always been a quiet ache there. I never told her what had happened, even though it never sat right with me. I kept the peace, until last week. My sister made a low comment during an argument, saying that since I recently lost my job, I clearly can't handle real responsibility. I snapped. I told her she was lucky her daughter was too young to remember how she ran off and left her behind. What I didn't know was that my niece had gotten out of bed and overheard everything. She came to me the next day asking what I meant. I hesitated, but I told her the truth, that when she was a baby, her mom didn't feel ready to raise her and left her with me and her grandma. I didn't go into detail or speak badly about her mom. I just answered her question honestly. Now my sister is furious. She says I traumatized her daughter. My mom is siding with her, saying I should have kept the secret like we all agreed. I understand it was a heavy thing to say, especially to a kid, but I also think the truth was going to come out eventually. I didn't plan for it to happen this way, but once my niece overheard us, I didn't see the point in lying. So, am I the jerk? Edit. I just want to clarify a few things and answer some questions. When the argument happened, my niece had been put to bed hours earlier. We were all at my mom's house, and none of us expected her to still be awake, let alone listening. For context, after my niece was born, my sister moved out of state to get a job. She was 20 at the time, and I was 17. She stayed away for a few years, and during that time, I was the one caring for the baby full time. It wasn't a 1-week favor. It was years. After everything blew up last week, I told my sister that since my niece already overheard us, we should come together as a family, me, her, our mom, and her husband, to explain the situation in a calm and honest way. She completely disagreed. She said we should just move on and not talk about it again, and that my niece will forget if we stop bringing it up. I think that's unrealistic and unfair to my niece, who deserves some clarity. What frustrates me more is that now my mom is turning on me too. She says the real issue is that I shouldn't have argued with my sister in the first place. But the only reason I've struggled financially or lacked stability is because I gave up school to raise a child that wasn't mine, something she asked me to do. I've been trying to reach out to my niece's stepdaughter to get his input and see if he's open to helping explain things in a better way. But so far, I haven't heard back. Edit 2. Yes, to those asking, my mom directly asked me to leave school and help raise the baby, and I did. I didn't finish school, and I never went to college. It's something I carry to this day. I want to be clear. I never wanted to hurt my niece or upset her. She had already overheard most of what was said, and I thought hiding the truth at that point would only make it worse or more confusing. I'm trying now to soften the impact with the help of the family, but my mom and sister both just want to sweep it under the rug again. I don't think that's fair to her. She's old enough to sense something's off, and I don't think pretending it didn't happen is the right call. Your mom completely sucks for allowing you to derail your own life for the sake of a 20-year-old woman not wanting to step up. That's shameful. You didn't choose to sit your niece down one day and tell her. She overheard the argument and asked, and you didn't lie. If you had, that could have broken her trust later. Your sister made a mistake, but so did your mom by letting a teenager give up his future to raise someone else's child. What really gets me is your sister mocking you for losing your job, when the only reason you're in that position is because you stepped up when she wouldn't. She should be grateful to you every single day, not acting like it never happened. Not the jerk. Make no mistake, it was still a bit of a jerk thing to do to your niece, but I'm giving you a pass. Everyone sucks here. This should never have been a family secret at all. Plenty of young parents start with a rough patch, and your sister apparently got her act together and turned it around. Your niece could have had that explained once she was past toddler age and able to basically understand. You chose to weaponize this information because you're bitter about your own choice to step up to help your mother. But the person you're hurting more is your innocent niece, not your sister. 17 years old, drops out of college, raises his sister's baby for 3 years, and somehow he's the one getting shamed? Well, maybe he shouldn't have told the kid. That's private family business. Karen, she heard it already. What was he supposed to do? Gaslight an 11-year-old? Still, I would have found a better way to handle it. Karen, you once called the cops on a toddler for drawing with chalk. It was sidewalk vandalism, Reddit boy. And this is why you're not invited to family events. Karen crashed my aunt's wedding and refused to move because it's public property. This happened over 30 years ago, but it's one of those family stories that still gets brought up once in a while. My aunt and uncle got married in a rose garden at a public park. The city allowed private events there as long as you reserved the space and got the necessary permit, which they did. Their ceremony area was tucked away from the main walkways, down a path, up a short set of stairs, and into a small gazebo area that wasn't visible unless you were already headed that way. Basically, no one was going to stumble into it by accident. The wedding had already started. Guests were seated, the music had just quieted, and my aunt and uncle were standing with the minister when this woman walked right up the path and into the middle of everything. She wasn't dressed for a wedding at all. High-waisted jeans, a loose cartoon t-shirt, sunglasses, and one of those oversized canvas tote bags that people used for errands and aerobics back in the day. She stopped right between the couple and the minister and just stood there like it was completely normal. At first, people assumed maybe she was just confused or lost. Someone politely tried to guide her away and let her know it was a private ceremony. She didn't move. She said she was just there to stand and enjoy the park. When told again that the area was rented and reserved, she said it was public property and she had every right to stand wherever she wanted to. It got more tense from there. The groom's brother tried to be firm but calm with her, but she just brushed him off. She wasn't yelling or making a big scene, but she wouldn't move either. She crossed her arms and planted herself like she belonged there. Someone offered to walk her to a bench nearby so she could still hear the music if that's what she wanted, but she said something about how, "You people act like you own this place." We, the guests, were obviously getting tense at that point. People were shifting in their seats, whispering, looking around to see who was going to step in. Eventually, after a few minutes of this, she muttered something like, "You people are so boring," and walked off back down the path like nothing had happened. It wasn't dramatic or explosive, just uncomfortable and weird. The ceremony resumed, but it definitely threw things off. Looking back, it's clear she walked in on purpose. There's no reason to go up that path unless you're headed to the gazebo. The area was clearly marked and roped off at the entrance with a sign about a private event. My aunt had done everything by the book. It just didn't matter to this woman. We never found out who she was, just someone who saw an event and decided she had more right to be there than the people who planned and paid for it. It's one of those moments that stuck, not because it ruined the wedding, it didn't really, but because it was such a clear example of someone being difficult for no reason. I don't get how someone can be that rude and still act like you're the problem. She knew it was a wedding. She wasn't lost or confused. She just flat out didn't care. It's honestly exhausting how many adults go through life thinking basic courtesy doesn't apply to them. Some folks treat public property like it gives them VIP access to whatever's going on. Just because you can be there doesn't mean you should plant yourself in the middle of someone's wedding. Basic decency goes a long way. Karen, you really stood in the middle of someone's wedding?
It's a public garden. I was enjoying the scenery.
You were blocking the bride's actual scenery.
They should have picked somewhere less convenient then.
It was at the end of a roped-off path.
Exactly. No crowd. Peaceful spot. I liked it.
I, 24 male, and my wife, who's 25, got robbed. I blame my wife, and I don't know how to move past this. Please help. Last weekend, my wife and I took a short trip down to Miami. We had been planning it for about a week, just a quick getaway to relax and hit the beach. I'd really been looking forward to this. We don't travel a lot, and it felt like something we both needed. We got to the city in the evening and spent the first few hours just driving around, checking out the area, grabbing food, and taking it all in. It was going well. Then things started to go sideways. At one point, my wife wanted to keep driving and explore more of the city, especially some neighborhoods she said she had seen online or heard about. I was hesitant. I don't know Miami well, but I grew up in a rough part of a different city, and I can usually tell when a place doesn't feel right. I told her that we should be careful and not wander too far off track, especially at night. I reminded her that cities have their sketchy areas like anywhere else, and we should be smart about where we go. But she didn't really take me seriously. She brushed it off and kept driving, saying I was overreacting and being paranoid. I stayed calm, but I kept warning her that the area we were entering didn't feel safe. The streets were dark and quiet. The storefronts were closed or boarded up. We were clearly out of place. The car, the way we looked, everything about us stuck out, and it was getting late. I kept asking her to turn around. I said it more than once, clearly and firmly, but she insisted we keep going because she wanted to see more of the city. Then, of course, the gas light comes on, and to make things worse, she says she needs to use the bathroom. So we stop at a gas station. I knew right away it was a bad idea, but we were low on gas, and she was already getting out of the car. I stayed by the pump, trying to get it done as quickly as possible. A few seconds later, someone came up behind me with a gun. He took my wallet, my phone, and even my earrings. I couldn't move. The guy had it pressed close, and I was just trying not to do anything stupid. At the same time, another guy opened the passenger door and started going through the car. I couldn't even say anything. I just stood there while they took everything they could. Then my wife came back out, and she got robbed too. They didn't take the car, somehow, just about everything else. Once they were gone, I jumped into the driver's seat and got us out of there. I drove until we found a better lit area with people around, and we finally got some help and called the police. I had to handle all of it. Canceling cards, freezing accounts, talking to the bank, dealing with the police report. The officers didn't seem particularly helpful or urgent about it either. It's been a week, and I still feel stuck in this loop of frustration and anger. I love my wife, and I know no one wanted this to happen, but I can't stop thinking about how many times I told her we should turn around. I warned her, and she didn't listen. She brushed off my concerns, and we got robbed because of it. I don't want to keep holding this over her, but I haven't been able to really talk to her since it happened. Every time I try, I just shut down. I feel like I'm the one dealing with the aftermath while she's trying to act like we just had a bad night and need to move on. But it doesn't feel that simple to me. So yeah, I'm just stuck. Has anyone gone through something like this? How do you move forward when the person you love made a call you tried so hard to stop, and now you're the one paying for it? I love my wife, but I just don't know how to move past this. It's been a week, and I still can't really talk to her. She really could have gotten both of you seriously hurt just because she wanted to play Dora the Explorer in the wrong part of town. There's a big difference between exploring a city and ignoring your partner's warnings about safety. You saw red flags and tried to protect both of you, and she completely dismissed that. She needs to understand how dangerous that was, not just because of what happened, but because she didn't listen when it mattered the most. Be honest with her. Tell her how you feel, and that moving forward, your concerns need to be heard and respected. That whole situation could have been avoided if she had taken you seriously. Honestly, if I were in your shoes, I wouldn't be the one to start the conversation. I'd wait for her to come to me. There are probably things she needs to say that could help you heal, but they'll only feel genuine if they come after she's had time to reflect. In the meantime, I'd write down everything that's bothering you, what you felt in that moment, how you feel now, and what it would take for you to feel safe with her again. That list could turn into a conversation once she's ready to apologize, or something you use to express your pain. Or, if it comes to that, a way to explain why you can't stay in the relationship. So they got robbed at gunpoint after he told her multiple times to turn around.
Blah, how was she supposed to know? She just wanted to explore.
He did know, and he said so, repeatedly.
Still, it's not like she meant for it to happen.
Intent doesn't matter when someone's holding a gun to your back, Karen.
Well, I always stop for gas when I need to.
Just try not to turn your night out into a crime scene tour. Am I the jerk for not footing the bill for a birthday dinner after my friend ordered enough sushi for a small country? English is not my first language, so sorry if anything sounds off. I just need an outside opinion. My friend Beth recently turned 18 and had a birthday dinner at a fancy restaurant. There were about 15 or 20 of us. Beth is really close with two girls, Leah and Kat. The three of them have this intense, no-boundaries friendship. They go through each other's phones, eat off each other's plates, that kind of thing. I met them last year when uni started, and I'm not used to that dynamic. Even with friends I've known forever, I ask before touching their stuff or trying their food. The trio teases me for this, and they say that I'm too formal. At the dinner, Leah told everyone to order whatever they wanted and said it was all covered. I asked if she was sure, and she said, "Me saying it is the same as Beth saying it." It felt a bit off, but I let it go. I ordered a Coke and shared some of the food on the table. I asked Leah if I could get a beer, and she gave me a weird look and said, "I don't know." So I asked Beth, who said it was fine. But her parents don't like alcohol, so I'd have to pay for it myself. I said that wasn't a problem, but I was still getting dirty looks from Leah. Maybe she wanted a beer too, but didn't want to pay, I don't know. So ended up not ordering it to avoid more awkwardness. Meanwhile, Leah and Kat kept ordering sushi. A lot of it. I love sushi too, but for a group that size, it didn't seem practical. I just ate what was already on the table and enjoyed the night. Later, I noticed Beth sitting with my friend Millie, looking upset. Her mom had called because the bill was way higher than expected. Beth said Leah went overboard with the ordering, and now she had to deal with the fallout. I felt bad and suggested that maybe next time she could plan a set menu or do the ordering herself. We stayed with her to comfort her, while Leah was across the room laughing like nothing had happened. The bill got paid and we all left. Millie and I just gave each other a look like, that was wild, and moved on. A few days later, Leah sent me angry texts saying that Millie and I stirred up drama, tried to turn Beth against her, and ruined her image in front of Beth's parents. She added that if we felt so bad for Beth, we should help pay her mom back. I was shocked. We didn't say anything about Leah. We just tried to be kind to Beth when she was upset. I told Leah no. Respectfully, we're broke uni students, and we weren't the ones encouraging people to order like there was no limit. Now things are tense and awkward, and I honestly hate it. I want to fix things, but I also don't think I should be blamed. Should I have just paid to keep the peace? So, the girl who told everyone to order freely is now mad people didn't offer to cover her mess?
Right? And somehow it's everyone else's fault her friend's parents got upset?
If you're gonna play host, at least act like it when the bill comes.
Or maybe don't treat your friend's birthday like an all-you-can-eat flex session. Just saying.
That's all for now, but don't be blue. We'll be back soon with more stories for you. Remember to listen to Mr. Redder every night, so your dreams will be wonderful, like you are, and bright. Now click this playlist, come follow along. We'll be right here. Until then, so long.